How many Mondays have you restarted? How many times have you said, I'll start on Monday, or next month, or next year, or when this happens, or when that happens? How many times is it just when this moment is right? When everything aligns, then it will happen. The reason is, most people aren't willing to admit they don't have the courage to start. They don't have the balls, they don't have the stomach to go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change my life. Because this shit's scary. This shit's hard. And we have this perception of who we have to be, how we have to present to the world, how we have to show up in this life. That we have to, present like we're gonna do it. We have to be it. I talked about this the other day. I actually think you'd be better off just admitting that you don't have what it takes and you aren't willing to do the work. Instead of pretending that it's gonna happen, you're gonna do it, you're gonna be that guy. Just admit that you're soft and you'd rather stay comfortable. I don't understand that as, let me give that a caveat. I don't fucking understand how you could ever say that. But be honest with it. That you just aren't willing to do the work. You just aren't willing to pay the price. So therefore, why fucking bother? Why pretend? Why continue this facade that, yeah, I'm going to be that guy? No, you're fucking not. You're not. Because you want to keep starting over. You want to keep finding a simpler answer. You want to keep looking for a nicer option instead of actually getting in and doing what is necessary. You know? And I get it. It's hard. It's daunting. It sucks. But at least be fucking honest about it. And that's the problem, that everyone wants to push it to Monday. And you need to make a decision. And not just a decision, but a decision with maximum fucking effort. And there are levels to this game. There are levels to these decisions. And I've found this recently. As you know, we're 470 plus days into this, where I've shown up every single fucking day, done the work, I don't miss. You know, this is now how I define my life, that this is just what is happening. End of story. Rain, hail, shine, no matter what the day is, if it's Christmas Day or it's just a random Tuesday, this shit is getting done. Because it matters. It matters to me. And I hope along the way that I'm impacting other people's lives, but it fucking matters. But in the last, probably call it 6 weeks, I realized that, yeah, I was doing the work, but the effort level in every rep, in the small nuances, wasn't actually there. And this is the difference. Like, yeah, I don't miss. I show up every day. That's a different level. You know, working out 3 or 4 times a week. That's a level. Not working out at all. That's a level. You know, fucking sad one, but a reality. There are levels to this. And then within this, I was like, fuck. Some days I'm just ticking the box. Some days it says 8 reps and I do 8 reps. When I could have ground out to 10 and then fully centered and given everything on the 11th to just see if I could grind out another inch. Same thing with my weighted walks. Same with all these kinds of things. There's doing it and then there's doing it. But part of it is the courage to actually make the decision. The courage to actually just commit and do what is necessary. Because, yeah, I was doing it, but At what level? And this is the problem when you compare yourself to average. You compare yourself to mediocrity. You compare yourself to what else is going on in the world. Yeah, I'm kicking ass. I'm taking names. And I got myself around people who were above that standard again. I was like, fuck. Yeah, I might be winning in this arena. I might be winning in this level. But there's another level to reach. And I wasn't even fucking playing the game. I was sitting on the sidelines compared to those guys. And so I had to step the fuck up. And then in the last 6 weeks, I've seen better results than probably in the last 6 months. Because it's about the effort. It's about the intensity. It's about squeezing out every last little bit of possibility, of potential, of energy. It's about leaving it all fucking out there. And this is the difference. And it's the difference maker. You know, talking about it the other day, and they're like, well, what do you provide? You know, you're going to teach me technique, you're going to teach me how to do it, you're going to write programs, and I'm like, yeah, I am. They're like, well, what makes you different from others? And I was like, well, it depends on how you want to look at it. Sure, you could probably find all the details. You could have ChatGPT write workouts for you. You could look them up on YouTube. You could do all that kind of stuff. But one, generally speaking, I find it's in the nuances. But two, it's about the fucking effort and intensity and the accountability. As I said, difference between what the results I was getting and the results I'm getting now come from the accountability of being held to that next standard. So what you're paying for with me is the mindset, the accountability, that I'm going to hold your feet to the fire and tell you when you ain't doing shit and when you need to do more. I'm going to tell you when the intensity isn't high enough and demand it of you. That's where you get the results. That's where you do it. Yeah, you might be showing up, you might be working out, you might be doing stuff. Cool. It's better than nothing. It is. And I will applaud that. It doesn't mean it's good enough, though. It doesn't mean it's a fucking enough. You now have to dig deeper. Now you need to be held higher. Now you need to be pushed further. Now you need to rise to the standards that matter. We're going to wring out every little bit of it. We're going to squeeze out every fucking drop. We're going to make sure that you do it to the highest degree. That's where the change comes from. Taking on impossible tasks and leaving it all out there and having the self-belief that you can do it. Or, you know, paying someone to be in your corner that you have the self-belief to do it. Because I'll hold you to the fire, and I know what's possible if you commit all in. I know what is doable if you're willing to leave it all out there. And that's where the change comes from. It's where the real results come from. You know, it's 20 kilos in 6 weeks kind of results. That's where we make the change. You know, as I said, better results in the last 6 weeks than probably the last 6 months. And it's not like I'm a newbie trainer. I've been training since I was 14 years old. I've done all this shit. But I continually learn and upgrade and realize where to maximize the results from. Where to actually get all the things that are possible and probable and doable out of it. And I was listening to a guy talk about this the other day, and he was like, the more times you do it, oddly enough, the less impressive it becomes. Because you already know what it's required. You know what it's going to take. You know the cost of achieving that result. The first time you do it, that's damn impressive because you aren't aware of the sacrifices and the costs that you're going to have to pay for this. You aren't aware of how much it's going to hurt. You aren't aware of what is required to make it a fucking reality. So you must go all in. So the next time you do it, it must be done faster. must be done better. Yeah, it took me 470 plus days to get to this point. My consistency is unmatched by most people. But I now know how to accelerate your results. I've learned all the fucking lessons, and I know I can deliver it faster. And I keep staying in the trenches, and I keep doing the work, and I keep grinding forward so that you can get better and better results faster and faster. I know exactly what is required for you now. I know exactly how to push you further. I know exactly how to deliver this faster. But it comes back to that question at the start. How many Mondays have you started over? How many times have you gone next week, next month, next year? How many times have you gone when this happens? That's why it's not fucking happening. Because you always give yourself a way out. You always give yourself another option. You need to max it out. You need to zero it out. There is no other option other than success. There's no other choice, but you are going to fucking succeed. That's where we need to get to. You need to have skin in the game. You need to have your back against the wall. You need to go, there is no other option. Make it a zero choice mentality. And look, from experience, as I said, and being there, it's all well and good to say it's a zero choice mentality. It's all well and good to be like, yeah, I'm going to do it this way. And tell yourself that you have no other option. But if there are still options out there, suddenly there will come days where the voice in your head, where resistance gets really fucking loud. And it knows all the dirty little secrets to whisper in your ears. Knows all the things to say to you that would make it real fucking easy for you to call it quits. For you to take it easy. For you to, well, not do what you said you would do. And just start again on Monday. I cannot tell you how many times, especially on weekends, where your schedule's a little bit different, that voice pipes up. Does it pipe up? Who would know? Just skip it today. Tomorrow's Monday, you'll do better then. And you have to override it. You have to give yourself no other options other than doing it. I post my progress photos to Instagram every single day. I have for over 470 days. Someone's like, why do you do it? Do people care? I was like, it's not for you. It's not for them. Hopefully I'm inspiring people across the way, but it's not about that. It's about me. It's about holding myself accountable. It's about putting it up there that I am still doing the work. It was about a week ago, we went out to a concert. And I naively didn't do this work before we went to the concert. So we didn't get home till 12:30. And my wife was like, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, completely understand. I got shit to do. And she's like, can't it be done tomorrow? And I was like, it's stuff that has to be done on the day. And she's like, well, it's technically the next day. And I was like, yeah. For me, the day doesn't end until I go to sleep. This shit has to get done. And she was right. And she had the right validation. She's like, but no one will know. And I was like, I'll fucking know. I'll know. And I have to have this zero choice mentality. I have to have that I did the fucking work. Because also, in my own rulings here, we're 470 plus days into this. If I drop the fucking ball once, we go back to the start. We start again at day fucking one. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've invested way too much into myself to start over at day one. And I want you to understand, when you enter demanding greatness, that is the fucking standard that you will be held to, especially if you join my one-to-one, which ain't for the faint of heart and isn't cheap. Because I am going to hold you to the fucking fire. And if you make a mistake and you fuck up, and you need to tell me, and I'll know if you lie. You go back to day one. It's like baseball. You get 3 chances. After the 3rd time, you have to pay to start again. You fucking heard me. You have to pay to start again. Because you weren't a man of your word. There are consequences to your actions. And for most people, the only thing that makes them think about their actions is their pocket. Money coming out of their pocket. So if you fuck up 3 times, because there are 3 phases, so across 12 months, you get 3 missteps. And if you fuck up more than 3 times, you have to pay again to start again. Or you can opt out, that's fine. But you forfeited the money. People are like, that's really unfair, that's mean, that's cruel. I am here to hold you to the highest fucking standard so that you can change your life, so that you can be the greatest version of yourself. It wasn't meant to be nice. It wasn't meant to be easy. It was meant to make sure you do the fucking work. You need to understand, you're going to sign a contract to that effect at the start. This is an agreement between us. But more than anything, it's agreement between you and you that you are ready to stop playing fucking small, to stop being the little bitch who's avoiding the work, stop being the one who's like, oh, I'll just start over on Monday. I'll just start over next time. What does it matter? Because it matters that you keep your word. It matters that you continue to show up. It matters that you are honest and a man of your word. That is your highest honor, duty, and obligation. This isn't just about the physique. This isn't just about how you look. It's about how you show up. It's about who you are on the inside. It's about becoming the greatest version of yourself. And if the only way, and I will say it for myself as well, because I've been there, the only way to force your hand is to hurt your checkbook, so fucking be it. Skin in the game, consequences for actions, willing to do it and pay the price. It's why it's got to hurt a little bit. It's why it's got to be uncomfortable, because otherwise you aren't willing to change. If there is no consequence to your actions, if there is no downside to not keeping your word, I can fucking guarantee that you will not keep your word. So you've got to have something on the line. And apparently, and again, I am in this camp, which is why I had to do this way. Just putting your word out there is not enough of that. So it is time to step the fuck up. It is time to become the greatest version of yourself. It is time to do what is necessary. So if you're ready, if you're ready to put your money where your mouth is, if you're ready to pay the price and become the greatest version of yourself, shoot me a message, click the link in my bio, join Demanding Greatness, and let's transform your life. It'll be the greatest investment that you have ever made. And I can't wait to see you there.